So the eco mode is really nice because it helps with keeping your range and not using too much power. And then when I turn that off, this does pack quite a punch. And then when the e-pedal's off, I mean, you can really coast. And like I said earlier, it's just nice that you're able to do that. But I like one pedal personally, or strong regenerative braking. I have a Pacifica hybrid. I keep the max regen on that at all times. I guess where I've had EVs for so long, I'm just used to driving like that. And I like being able to recoup that energy. Now, I will say the steering on this, I'm so used to driving it, I guess, I have a Mach-E, and the steering on that is so, especially in the unbridled mode, it's just so heavy that when I let off the brake at full speed, or let off the throttle at full speed, and just let the one pedal go, I'm not feeling a pull. But here I'm feeling just the slightest pull. But the steering is much lighter, and Nissans are pretty much known for having lighter steering compared to other vehicles, at least in my opinion. So if you don't want to have to use a lot of force to exert your steering, that's a plus when it comes to this vehicle, because it's very easy to maneuver. Yeah, my girlfriend would love this compared to my Mach-E. She hates driving it because she says the steering is just so heavy. It's hard to turn the wheel. But she would not complain about this, I'm sure. Drives like that Infiniti she had. And like I said, me personally, I just don't like having that lighter steering. But with that being said, this does make this one an easier EV to get used to, because you're not having to pull so hard. I will say the sound acoustics in here are really good. It's very quiet in this vehicle. Of course, it's an EV, so you're not having a lot of engine noise. Well, you're not having any engine noise, but on this rough patch of road, even the tire noise is very minimal. I'm very impressed by that. And the e-pedal's kind of weird. It's taking some getting used to, but when you're letting off at higher speeds, it kind of coasts, and then as you start slowing down, it starts to bite a little bit more, feels like. I'm gonna give it a good pull here. Just a little bit of a burnout there. With this being front wheel drive, it feels weird. But we're gonna give it some throttle getting on the interstate here. Of course, acceleration is gonna be great. And I do wish that they just put a little bit more power in these, but with it being front wheel drive, you really don't want to put too much in. We have the adaptive cruise on now. And I always forget the steering assist is over here. I wish they would put it somewhere and made more sense, but Nissan does quirky things. But the ProPilot Assist, really good system, and I've said that in other Nissan reviews I've done. Just very comfortable semi-autonomous driving there. And this ride quality for an EV is very, very impressive. I'm not feeling a lot of bounce. I'm just slightly getting a little play because of the wind, but other than that, very impressive. And like I said, the ride quality is what's great, just really smooth. And what's great about the Leaf in general is because this is made right down the road from us here in Manchester, Tennessee, and Smyrna, you still get that $7,500 EV tax credit, even though this is a Nissan, even under Biden's new EV plan, which I didn't think I would like at first, but I've come to love because next year we're going to get to have GM and Tesla back on board for the EV tax credit, getting those used EV tax credits eventually. So very nice. But pretty impressed by this Leaf, especially for the price point. So with that being said, this is going to bring me to an end of my review of the 2023 Nissan Leaf SV Plus.